Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Natalie if you're new here. So nice to have you here. Today we're doing a book recommendation video, which I actually haven't really done before. I've talked about books in my vlogs and I probably prefer to make a little vlog style content, but a few people asked for book recommendations, so this is what we're doing. It'll be a little quick one and it'll be Christmas edition. So I'm actually at home in front of my beautiful Christmas tree wearing my really cute pajamas. And I'm gonna quick fire through some Christmas book recommendations that I have read and also books that I'm looking forward to reading, because I actually haven't read a Christmas book this year yet, so stay tuned for that. But I've got my tea. This is like a massive cup and I love it. I literally bought it the other day. The tea tastes so good. Yeah, I literally bought it the other day at TK Maxx. It was so cheap and it's huge. Like I can't even... There's a lot of tea in there. So yeah, I'm all set. I've got my tea. I'm gonna fire through some Christmas book recommendations if you would like some, so stay tuned for that and let's get started. Okay, so I've got a bit of a list on my phone of the Christmas books that I've read and also the books that I'm excited to read, because I haven't read a Christmas book yet this year, which is so surprising, and I do want to read at least one before Christmas. So I'm gonna also give some recommendations of books that I haven't read yet but sound good and I'm interested to read. But we'll start with the ones that I've read so far and that I've liked. So the first ever Christmas book that I read was a couple years ago in 2022, I think, and it is this one. It is Kiss Her Once For Me by Alison Cochrane. Such a pretty little cute book. I'm pretty sure I just saw it in like Big W or Kmart and I was like, I want to read a Christmas book this year, and this one intrigued me the most, and I hadn't heard much about the book, so I was keen to read it because very rarely do I read a book and I haven't heard like someone else's opinion of it, so I was keen to form my own opinion of this one. I'll read the back and give you a little glimpse into what the storyline is. 1 year ago, recent Portland transplant Ellie Oliver had her dream job in animation and a Christmas Eve bookstore meet cute with a woman she fell in love with over the course of a single night. So this does have like girl relationship in it, but even though that's not me personally, I didn't actually mind reading about it. Like, I don't know, I was intrigued by it. It's like, let's just give it a go. Anyway, but after a betrayal the next morning and the loss of her job the soon after, she finds herself adrift, alone, and desperate for money. Since finding work at a local coffee shop, she's getting through the days until Andrew, the shop's landlord, proposes a shocking drunken plan, a marriage of convenience. So this is marriage of convenience trope, if you're interested, that will give him his recent inheritance and elevate Ellie's financial woes and isolation. They decide to spend the holidays together at his family cabin to keep up the ruse. So she's now got to pretend to be married to this guy so he can get his money and, you know, she can get her life back on track. Helps with her money and, you know, not being alone. But when Andrew introduces his new fiance to his sister, Ellie is shocked to discover that his sister is Jack, the mysterious woman she fell for last Christmas Eve. So the girl she had like a one night stand with and she really liked is the fiance's sister. Now, over one very festive week, Ellie must choose between the safety of a fake relationship and the risk of something real. So you kind of watch her through her different relationships with obviously the fake fiance and see how they interact and things like that. And then obviously she's put in a position where she has to see this girl that she really liked and something unfolds. And it's actually really interesting. I thought it was nice, and the relationships in this book I quite enjoyed. And it's just like an interesting storyline, like to watch it all play out. The fact that, you know, marriage of convenience, and then when you're like, obviously you get told on the blurb that it's his sister, but like it still kind of shocks you when you're reading it, like, oh my god, how's this going to play out? How are they going to react when they find out? Like, are they going to tell anyone? Are they going to keep it a secret? What do they do? I don't know. That's up to you to read, but it was actually quite good. I liked it. I just went and checked my rating to make sure that I didn't give you the wrong one, but I rated this 4 stars when I read it. And I read it in 2022, so I read it a couple years ago and I still like briefly remember what was going on and that I enjoyed it. So this one's a good one to read. The next one is my absolute fave, and that is The Christmas Fix by Lucy Score. I will pop it on the screen because I don't actually have the physical book and I kind of wish I brought it, because the year that I read it last year, and I went to America last year and I saw the book in America and it had this pretty little, it kind of like gave the vibes of my Christmas pajamas. It was a pretty little red cover. and I saw it and I was going to buy it, but I was like, no, I don't need it. And it was also on Kindle Unlimited, so that's where I read it instead. But the book is so cute, like you'll see it here, it's so adorable. Now this book is actually the second in a series of hers called The King Siblings. It just follows a bunch of brothers, I think. I can't really remember how they interconnect, but moral of the story, I didn't read the first one. The first one is Mr. Fixer-Upper by Lucy Score, and I remember hearing about that book, but I wasn't too interested in it. I looked it up before reading it, and it was kind of like, yes, the first book will kind of be spoiled because obviously you know who's together from that book, and you kind of get a glimpse of how that ended. But people say that like they don't think it's not necessary to read that before the first one, before the second one, before the Christmas one. But if you were interested in the first one and you didn't want that spoiled at all, then obviously read Mr. Fixer-Upper first and then read the Christmas Fix. But I was just kind of like, I wanted a Christmas book. I probably will never really want to, like I wasn't very intrigued by that one or The Sound of That Couple. And this is actually the first Lucy Score book that I read, and I really, really liked it. And I remember when I read it, I read this one last year, and I said to myself, I really need to read a Lucy Score book because I loved her writing. And it's been a whole year now and I still haven't read one, but that's just reminded me that I need to pick one up because I loved her writing so much. And I was like, I definitely could read one of her romance books and I could see myself really liking them. The Christmas Fix by Lucy Score, I actually ended up rating 5 stars because it was just what I was after. Like, I don't know how to explain. In terms of a 5-star, it probably wouldn't be on the same level as a 5-star like Magnolia Parks or Looking for Alaska, like my favorite books of all time. I probably wouldn't say that they're quite equal, but just in terms of, I feel like Christmas books have their own ranking. Like a Christmas like holiday cheesy little book is probably never going to compare to like a massive 10-book series that I'm going to be really, really connected with. But it was exactly what I was after. Like I wanted a good book that like I was interested in the romance. It also had good Christmas vibes about it. And it was just exactly what I was after. So like I felt like I was so in love with the book when I read it. Like it gave me a 5-star feeling. So I was like, in terms of Christmas books, this is a 5-star for me. So that's how I'm explaining that rating. Read my little Goodreads review. If you're not following me on Goodreads and you want to, it'll be linked down below somewhere. I wrote, I had so much fun reading this. It was exactly what I was after. I was in the mood for a quick and easy read full of Christmas vibes and steamy romance. The small town single dad trope. So that's the main trope of this, small town single dad. If you love that, give this a go. It really pulled through here too. I quite enjoyed Lucy Score's writing and the company of the characters, so this may push me to try some of her other well-known series. And it still hasn't, but I know that I really need to because I did really like this one. No, wait, this is so sad. I was gonna go see if I can find it on Kindle Unlimited and see if I can find my annotations that I would have made when I read it. But it's not on Kindle Unlimited anymore. You can buy it only for $2.99 though, so absolutely amazing deal. If you have a Kindle or if you just have the Kindle app on your phone, go read this. Or you can go obviously pick up the book. I have seen it in Australia since. I think we do have the pretty cover as well in Australia. I think we might have the same cover that I saw in America. Anyway, not fully certain, but I know you can buy the book anyway. But that's so annoying because I wanted to like read my annotations of like good quotes throughout it, but I can't do that. Anyway, I'll give you a little glimpse into more about what the story is, other than obviously single dad trope. It says, she'll save Christmas just to spite him. There's only one thing standing in the way of Cat King saving a small town's Christmas festival, the grumpy town manager, Noah Yates. So it's like kind of grumpy sunshine trope as well. Single dad Noah takes his responsibilities seriously. When a late season hurricane turns Merry, Connecticut into a disaster, he's left scrambling to pick up the pieces of the town he loves, at least until the home renovation expert and smoking hot reality TV star Catalina King arrives with a camera crew and a budget big enough to put the town back together again. But Noah doesn't want a celebrity diva capitalizing on their tragedy or filling his daughter's head with visions of glitz and glam. Blonde bombshell Kat is used to being underestimated, but Noah has an uncanny knack for getting under her skin. They can't be in a room together without rubbing each other the wrong way, except that time in a dark alleyway where the rubbing was just right. Can these enemies work together to pull off a Christmas miracle, or will their fighting leave them both on the naughty list? So they're kind of like enemies at the start. Like they don't like each other. They really clash. Like she's like big pop star, blonde bombshell, like really out there kind of energy, and obviously has heaps of money. And he's just like very wholesome. He's the town manager who cares for his town and like can kind of be a little bit grumpy. And when he sees her, he's like not her vibe straight away. He's like, not my type of person. But obviously Kat has the funds and the opportunity to do something really good for this town. He's like refusing her help. He wants to do it herself, but you know, maybe he does need her help, and they do have to see a fair bit of each other. So you see them interact and see how their relationship changes, and you know how they go from enemies to potentially lovers. But yeah, it's just so good, and it was really good Christmas vibes about it. Like the romance was good, and it was very Christmassy, and like just, I don't know, had you feeling the spirit of, you know, getting into the vibes of Christmas. So very much recommend that one. That is my favorite Christmas book of all time so far. And the tea. Oh my god, I'm trying to get this next one up on my Kindle because I read it on my Kindle as well. But every time I click to go to the next page, it's like, oh, you're done this book, what do you rate it? I'm like, I've done this book ages ago, I want to go backwards. Okay, now this is actually the last one that I've read, and then I'll go into some ones that I'm keen to read. But this is 'Tis the Season by Celia Rose. Once again, I'll pop it up here. I think I saw it on TikTok. I saw someone make, it might have even been the author probably. I just saw someone make like a little video on, you know, what it's about, and like it, some reason enticed me to read it. This one is a very, very steamy book. Obviously it happens at Christmas time, you're getting the Christmas vibes, but this is not a cute romance. I remember it being very out there. I'll read you the premise of the book so you kind of get an idea. So, after moving to the city 8 hours away from her family, Aurelia wants nothing more than to surprise them over Christmas and fulfill all their family traditions. However, instead of being cozy at home, she finds herself stranded in a cabin due to a snowstorm. I was like, oh, this is fun. Who's she going to end up with? A cabin occupied with 3 gorgeous men, all of whom loathe Christmas. Isn't that ideal? Christian, a cheeky, tattooed smartass who caught her attention the moment he opened the door. Noah, a sweet, surfer-looking mechanic who works on more than just his cars in the shed. And Dean, a gorgeous hunk of pure man who is hell-bent on resisting his urges when it comes to her. Too bad for him, she's hell-bent on making him cave. Staying in a cabin full of Grinches is hard, especially for someone who absolutely adores Christmas. But although the snow may not be thawing, the indifference in their hearts come to, and she finds herself having to make the decision of a lifetime. So obviously there's 3 like completely different men, and it's so entertaining because you get to know all of them, and you like obviously will probably find yourself liking one more than the other, and you're so intrigued to see which one she's gonna like because you get a glimpse of everyone pretty much. And it's also fun because you're watching her like trying to bring the Christmas magic to them because they're Grinches and they don't love Christmas and they're guys and they're not interested at all. But by the end of it, you have them like feeling the Christmas spirit. They're doing like little acts of service for her. It is so adorable, but it does get very steamy obviously because she's stuck in a cabin with 3 really handsome guys. So what is she meant to do? This one I did rate 3 stars, so it was a decent book. I recommend it, but it's obviously not an all-time fave. I just think because me personally probably couldn't find myself in that situation with 3 guys, but if you're looking for like more of an unrealistic or just like high stakes steamy romance that gives all the Christmas vibes, read this one. And obviously I'm not going to tell you who she ends up with, so that is for you to find out. I think that's why I was most intrigued, because I had one of the guys that I was like, I want her to end up with him, so I wanted to know, is she going to pick someone? Is she not going to pick any of them? Is she going to leave? Is she going to pick the one that I like, or is she going to pick someone else that I wasn't so interested in? Okay, now I'm going to go into the 2 books that I'm excited to read for Christmas. So if you haven't watched any of my other videos, I'm currently reading the Caraval series, and I'm actually up to the last one, Finale, and I'm quite enjoying it. I loved Legendary, like it was so good. I recommend this series. Like if you've read Caraval and you didn't love it heaps, definitely jump into Legendary, because that's what I did. I wasn't the biggest fan. I think I gave the first one like 3 stars, and then that was at the start of the year, and I've picked it back up and I loved Legendary. I think I settled on like a 4.5 stars. It was so good. Like, and I'm not typically a big fantasy person, but it was perfect for me. Like I loved it. And Finale is also just as interesting. I just don't have much time at the moment to read, but I've kind of got a fair bit. I read it on the train a little bit, and I'll probably read it on the train home as well. But this brings me to say that there is a novella that comes after finale, and it is like a holiday themed novella. So I'm so excited to read that because I'm in this world already and I didn't even know that existed. So if you've read this series and you didn't know that existed either, definitely read it. It is called Spectacular. I'll put it here. The US, I think it is, have a really pretty cover. It's probably the one I've popped up. It is so gorgeous, but I don't think I can get it here unless I'm gonna pay like heaps of money, and I don't really want to do that for a novella, but it's so pretty and I want it to match my books because these are the US covers as well. So I don't love the spines of the Australian ones. They're like stripy and I don't love them. These are the US ones and they're so pretty. But yeah, I'll probably have to find the Australian novella and buy that and read it. I don't really want to read the blurb because I don't want to spoil it for myself in case it says anything about how finale ends, and also don't want to spoil it for you guys if you haven't read the Caraval series. But really good fantasy series if you're overseas and you're in winter right now, or like coming into that cozy season. Definitely a good one to read in the winter. It's summer for me here, but because it's been raining and storming, that's why I kind of picked it up, because it was giving like cozy storm reading vibes. So that's why I went back into the world and I'm loving it. But yeah, it's a little novella and it's like their holiday time. So I'm just keen to be in that world when it's all, because the world's so magical and whimsical. And then when it's Christmas and holiday time, I can just picture all the vibes are going to be so like cozy and comforting. So I'm so keen to read that soon. And then there's one more book that I think I heard about it. I think I heard about it in 2022 when I first started reading that first Christmas book. But at the time you couldn't find it in Australia and I just wasn't willing to pay heaps of money for a book that I didn't know if I was going to like or not. And this book is Lovelight Farms by B.K. Borison. And since then, I have heard about it every single year. So I'm so convinced to read it now, like 2 years later, and people are still talking about it and loving it. And I recently saw it in Dimmicks in Australia. So I know that I can get it here now, and the cover is so cute. It's adorable. So I think if I purchase, other than Spectacular, if I get time before Christmas to purchase another Christmas book, I really want to read this one. So it's two best friends fake date to reach their holiday happily ever after in this first romantic comedy in the Lovelight series. So this is actually a series. I think there's like 4 books out at the moment, but I think by memory only the first one is Christmassy. They're not all Christmas books. I'll check up on that. Hang on. So there's already 4 books and I think they can all be read as standalones, because I just clicked on the second one and it says that it's a standalone romance. So I think they're all just interconnected standalones. They might like cross over little bits, but you don't have to read them in order, or you don't have to read them all. But the first one is definitely Christmassy. The rest I don't think are Christmassy by the looks of them. Anyway, back to it. Lovelight Farms is not the magical winter wonderland of Stella Bloom's dreams. In an effort to save the Christmas tree farm she's loved since she was a kid, Stella enters a contest with Instagram famous influencer Evelyn St. James. With the added publicity and the $100,000 cash prize, Stella might just be able to save the farm from its financial woes. There's just one problem. To make the farm seem like a romantic destination for the holidays, she lied on her application and said she owns Lovelight Farms with her boyfriend. Only there is no boyfriend. Enter best friend Luca Peters. He just stopped by for some hot chocolate and somehow got a farm and a serious girlfriend in the process. But fake dating his best friend might be the best Christmas present he's ever received. Yeah, she wants to save this Christmas tree farm and she puts in an application, but it has to be like a romantic holiday destination. So she drags in her best friend and says, "You're going to be my boyfriend and we're going to do this together." And I don't know about you, but I love like best friend to like childhood friends to lovers, or just like friends to lovers, because that is my trope. And yeah, I feel like it could just be so comforting, and yeah, it'll be nice to see like they've already got a relationship, they're already friends, they already connect. We don't have to go through the awkward like talking stage. They've already got a background together, and I'm hoping that you get to kind of see how that relationship changes. And yeah, I don't know, I've just heard really good things about it. It's very highly rated, and yeah, that one is on my Christmas TBR. Not gonna lie, I'm starting to get pins and needles in my feet from sitting in this position for so long, but thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you got some ideas of cute Christmas books that you can read this season or whenever you're watching this. And yeah, let me know if you read any of them, any of your thoughts on how you like them, if you do read them, or also please comment below some other Christmas book recommendations if you have any. Even if you haven't read them and you've just heard of them, I would love to hear your recs as well, because I can always add some more to my TBR. I'd love to read more Christmas books this year and in coming seasons as well. So yeah. But yeah, if you've made it to this far, thank you so much for watching. Your support means the literal world to me, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video very, very soon. Bye. I don't actually know if I'm gonna be able to get up. My legs are like cramped in this position. They have pins and needles so bad. Hold up. Ow. Like, look how I was sitting, because I could have sat like this. I'm an idiot. This would have been cute. I've already filmed it, so I'm not going back. That's kind of funny. I could have sat over here or a bit closer on my feet with like the presents at the bottom. I just thought it was cute having the tree. I'm so silly. Anyway, instead I sat like this. I can't even get down, like my knees are so sore. It probably didn't help. I did a full high rocks simulation yesterday. My body is so sore, and the race is next week and I'm so excited, but that was my last one. Yeah, I literally sat on my knees like this. I mean, at least I had the pillow, because when I first started, I didn't have the pillow. Oh, I'm like, I can feel stars in my legs. Anyway, this is actually goodbye for now.